Yo, what's good, y'all? A little bit of breaking news. Houston trading for Brandin Cooks for a second round pick. I got my boy Julian. He's not a fan of this trade. That's why I had to get him on. So what up? What up? Go ahead and go for it.
It's the stupidest. I don't know what the hell the Texans are thinking here, dude. I really don't know. It's just unbelievable how Bill O'Brien. I'm not a big fan of getting people fired and stuff. You know, people gotta pay. They got away with it, man. The Rams got away with it, and every GM in this league right now is smelling blood when it comes to the Texans. And I won't be surprised if someone else tries to like pull a robbery on them, just as the
I
NFC
mean,
West has.
it just seems all of his moves since he's been the GM just looks desperate. Like basically trading Jadavion for I don't even remember what it was. I remember he got a couple players and a couple picks, but not much compensation. Traded most of their first round picks for Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills. And then, we saw the robbery that happened at the beginning of free agency, Hopkins to the Cardinals for a pick and a player that we don't even know where he's at right now. So, and they just traded that pick for Cooks. So where are the Texans right now? I'm not understanding. Like I told you, he's fighting for his job right now. I don't know what the rhyme or reason for any of these moves are. I don't understand what he's trying to build. He's just pushing Deshaun Watson out the door at this point.
And the problem is that if you had a Tom Brady in your team or a Drew Brees, a guy who's like in his last year of his like playing days, I understand making these moves. You're trying to play for now, win, but Deshaun Watson's like what, 24 years old, 23, 24, roughly around that age. Like you got time to build around this guy. You got a good 10 years with him. You can take your time, rebuild. And if you're gonna trade Hopkins, that's okay with me. But get yourself a couple picks out of it. Hopkins is a top 3 receiver in my mind, arguably top 5 for everybody else. And if you don't get a first-round pick out of that to at least build around what you're going to have with Watson, that will buy you time. I get he's trying to, manage for his life or manage for his job, but it's just the way he's making these moves is not making any sense in terms of rebuild or playing to win next year. Now you got 4 receivers who essentially are good but not great. But you traded for Fuller last year. You signed Cobb for I don't know how much you did. Like that was ridiculous contract they signed. You traded for Cooks and you still have Kenny Stills. You can essentially cut Fuller, but you traded I don't know how many first round picks for him. So that'll make you look even more dumb. I get you got Tunsil, which is he's a great lineman, and he's gonna get paid. But it surprises me, especially the way Hopkins just wanted to make. How much did he want? He wanted like
18 to 20, which
is not which is decent because Julio's $22 million, and most receivers nowadays they want to be the guy that gets paid the most. You see Odell did it, you saw Michael Thomas do it, and you saw Julio kind of do it too, where he wanted to be the highest paid receiver. Hopkins, it felt like Hopkins didn't want that. It felt like Hopkins just wanted to be up there with all of them in terms of getting paid, but he was not bothering or butchering for the highest paid contract, which the Texans could have afforded, especially giving up Clowney, which you were supposed to pay him, but you could have just sent that money to Hopkins. So I don't know. This is all out stupidity from the Texans management. I don't know what they're doing. And at the end of the day, you don't got a first-round pick still. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to what you said, like, if you had a Tom Brady or a Drew Brees to try to win, like, none of these moves are trying to win at all. Like, I don't understand why you get rid of Deshaun Watson's favorite target. Yeah, Deshaun Watson's favorite target in DeAndre Hopkins. You trade for their whole wide receiving core is injury prone. Will Fuller can't stay healthy a full season. Brandin Cooks concussion history. Kenny Stills, I mean, maybe I don't really know his injury history, but and then they have Kiki Kuti and Randall Cobb. Like, where's the size? Where's the go up and get it? They can't throw it to nobody now. It's just going to be all slants and all curl routes. Like, there's nothing to do with this roster anymore. And then they have David Johnson, which it's just probably going to be swing passes most of the year because, I mean, I don't understand. They need to – I'm sorry. Like you said, I don't really like firing people and, calling for people's jobs. But when it's just time after time you're making horrible moves. This is close to Phil Jackson on the Knicks. Like, this is awful.
I agree.
This is awful. I
Yeah,
don't know what.
this is ridiculous, and now it feels like they're in a situation where they're going to pay all these players a lot of money. They're going to be in this situation. It seems like a total rebuild,
It
and
has to be.
which is okay with me. But in terms of having a rebuild, you see how the Dolphins operated. They got a bunch of these first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up all their players. They got all these first round picks. They're starting with the clean slate. They have something to build around. They got something to work around with. The Texans absolutely have nothing, and now it just feels like they're in the middle between winning now and rebuilding. And if they were going to go total rebuild, which looks like they are, they should have at least gotten a first round pick out of it. And this is very disappointing when it comes to the Texans.
Yeah, they got rid of their first round and their second round. So I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if Watson leaves next year.
I wouldn't be either. Like if you're gonna take on David Johnson's salary and you're gonna give him a Hopkins, you should have at the very least gotten a first round pick. Okay, that happened, and now you do the Cooks deal. The Rams were desperate enough to get rid of one of their core receivers, and obviously they were not going to give up Cooper Kupp. And they got rid of Cooks, who they didn't want to pay anymore. The Rams have admittedly said that they are tight right now with their cap situation.
Yeah.
So at the very least, the Texans had leverage there to get something out of the Rams, and instead they gave up a second rounder, and the Rams are just they got their answers. They got their prayers answered with this trade. So.
I mean, I joked about it with you how Watson was going to be the Patriots starter. I don't think that's going to happen, but he's going to leave. There's no either. Depending on how this season goes, he'll probably push a trade because they do have his fifth-year option. So they'll probably push a trade. Like I don't see him staying.
I was gonna say right now it seems like Watson's gonna want to leave, but who knows? Maybe let's give him this year to play it out. Maybe he wants to play it out this season, see how it turns out, and then if they end up having the bad season that we're all expecting and that them to have, then yes, I can see Watson leaving the following season at this time next year.
Yeah, and to go back with the Hopkins, Stephon Diggs is not better than DeAndre Hopkins, and they got a first and a lot more than what they got for Hopkins. So
yes, I agree. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to have Bill O'Brien speak at the podium sometime soon, explain what he just did, but we probably won't see it maybe till the draft, and that's a big maybe. So we'll see. This is going to go down as one of the worst off seasons in history.
Yeah.
In terms of a team,
ridiculous.
An organization operating. So I don't know, and they still are not going to be participating in day one of the draft, so we'll see. I'm just waiting for the Seahawks and Niners to jump in and steal something off of them because that whole NFC West just seems like they're calling Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, if you were the Texans right now, what's the move? What do they do from here? Do they – I mean, I don't know what's going on with –
Well, like I said, if I was the Texans, I would have just gone complete rebuild because you got to look at it based on last year's performances. They made the playoffs. I personally thought they should have lost to the Bills in that playoff game. They escaped. Mm-hmm. They had the Chiefs on the ropes, but then they just lost it. So that just tells me that they need to either find that player that's going to give them the extra boost or that next level type of player, or just go total rebuild. And when they did the Hopkins trade, I was like, okay, they can go total rebuild here, do what the Dolphins did. But now that they're in this situation, honestly, you just got to pray and hope that Deshaun Watson is willing to ride through this organization because that's all they got. And J.J. Watt. But I also think J.J. Watt's there, but I can see Watt going through all this more than seeing Watson there because Watt has the whole city of Houston in his arm. So, I don't know. I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of people back and forth with this trade. Some people are saying it's good, and obviously we're not on that boat at all. So
no, and I can totally understand the David Johnson Hopkins trade. I can see both sides. I can definitely see it. But with this Cooks deal, I don't know. This one I can't explain at all.
Yeah, me neither. So who knows what the future holds for the Texans? But I can tell you, this is probably Billy O'Brien's last season. I mean, I cannot see a scenario where he's the coach / GM for years to come. So this is why coaches
shouldn't have GM jobs. To be quite honest with you, unless you're like a Bill Belichick, type of coach, I don't see why a Bill O'Brien even got offered to be the GM and the coach.
I think it's just laziness on the Texans ownership. I mean, they wanted Caserio from the Patriots. They couldn't get him. So they're like, I mean, what else can we do? Oh, Billy O'Brien. All right, here you go. Like that's just laziness. That's just trying to set your team up for failure. And now I don't even know whether they're like they have no structure for the future, like we were saying. So
yeah, and of course Bill O'Brien is not going to worry about that because he's just concerned about this season because he knows he's not going to prepare himself to rebuild for the next 5 years when he knows he's on the clock. So obviously he's going to push all his dominoes in 1 year, and if it fails, then he saw this coming. So yeah. I don't know. From that perspective, the Texans should have known that, but I can't knock Bill O'Brien for doing this either. But it's just, I don't know. It's just dumb from the whole organization, not just Bill O'Brien, but the whole organization.
Well, we'll just leave it there. I mean, we said what we had to say. We're just beating a dead horse at this point. It's
of course.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything about it. I'm sorry to all the Texans fans out there.
Yeah, it's not hate on your team. It's hate on your ownership and your – I got one more announcement. We got something big cooking up from April 12th to April 23rd. I'll let you go for it. Go ahead and announce it.
So we're going to do we're doing a redraft for every year of the decade. So we're starting at 2010. We're going to do a whole redraft. Pick the players that the players should have gone and the teams where they could have, filled them in there for. But we're doing that for every year, 2010 up to 2020, and then we'll do 2020 together. We don't know who's going first in that one, but that one should be interesting. Owen mock draft for 2020.
So we're gonna upload 11 days straight. It's gonna be nothing but videos, redrafts, and then after the 2020 draft, we'll have a recap and who won and all that. So. Yeah, stay tuned for that. Julian, I thank you. Thank you for being on, like always.
Yes, sir. Just don't pull those moves that Texans are doing, all right? Promise me that.
Yeah, don't be a Billy O'Brien in life. All right, y'all. Catch you later. Peace.